Last Tuesday marked the one-year anniversary of the Boston Marathon bombing. Hundreds of thousands came out to celebrate a year of strong resilience and to remember the lives lost. But residents of the city had to deal with two bracing incidents on the heels of the anniversary. Lawyers for bombing suspect Dzhokhar Tsarnaev were in court seeking details of the prosecution case, and police found a suspect backpack near the finish line for next week's race. The man who left it behind has been arrested. Jim Spellman has all the details. He joins us with the latest. What can you tell us, Jim?
Mike, it sounds like a bizarre incident. Police say Mike Edson, 25 years old, was near the finish line of the race hours after all those festivities wound down yesterday. They said it was pouring rain. He was barefoot, veiled in black with a backpack. When police approached him, asked him what he was doing, he said he had a rice cooker in his backpack. That's significant because that was the device that allegedly the Tsarnaev brothers built their bomb in that they detonated a year ago yesterday in Boston. They asked him to put it down. He did. They examined it, and they found indeed what looked like a rice cooker in the backpack. They called out the bomb squad. The bomb squad detonated it just to be safe. It turned out it was not a rice cooker at all. They arrested him. Today, the Edson family released a statement saying that this young man suffered from bipolar disease. He had been wrestling with mental health issues for years. A rattling way to end this day of festivities, Mike.
And Jim, tell us about the authorities. Have they pressed charges at this stage?
They pressed several charges today in court, but the judge ordered, instead of sending this young man to jail, to send him to a state-run mental health facility there for an assessment. Often under U.S. law, in an incident like that, the defendant may get mental health treatment in lieu of jail time. We'll have to see what happens.
And as we mentioned, they marked the one-year anniversary. The Vice President of the United States was there, made a rousing speech. But then today, this bombing case moving forward, it's moving towards a trial. What's the latest on that?
Several important decisions made recently, Mike. First of all, Tsarnaev, the defendant, had argued that he wanted access to the autopsy photos of the victims in the bombing. The families and the prosecutor said it's inappropriate, insensitive to allow this man to have access. But the judge ruled and said, look, he has the right to view this evidence to build his defense, so he will be able to see that. Also, the judge allowed, going forward, for Tsarnaev to meet with his family without FBI officials present during those visits. Previously, they had required that for security concerns. They say at this point that is not an issue, so he will be able to speak with them in private going forward.
And it seems, if you look at what the case that's been built against them, many would say this is an ironclad case. It doesn't seem like there's any doubt that he was involved in the bombing. So what is the approach the defense is likely to take?
Yeah, that's true. They really don't have a lot of options here. So what we believe that they're going to argue is that Dzhokhar Tsarnaev, the younger brother who was 19 during the shooting, that he was in effect under the powers of his older brother, that he viewed his older brother as this all-powerful figure, and that his older brother, Tamerlan, was the mastermind behind the plot. Now, that's not going to get him a not guilty verdict. This is really all about the death penalty and trying to get that off of the table. And that may seem like an unusual defense, but there's some precedent for it. Back in 2002, right here in the Washington area, two men went on a shooting spree for about 2 weeks. And when they went to trial, Lee Malvo, the younger of those two men, used this defense, and he was found guilty but was spared the death penalty, while John Muhammad, the older man, was executed. So there is some possibility that this could work. During that case, Lee Malvo here in D.C. was 17, Dzhokhar Tsarnaev 19 during last year's Boston bombing.
Jim Spellman, live with the latest here in Washington. Thanks.